30. How old are you? You're 35 years old.
Yep.
Okay, so what is that? What do
I do?
Like, if you were 20
well, let's
and
say
you were
I'm a
saying this
millionaire,
stuff,
I travel the world, I get to research and talk about whatever I want, I get to talk to cool people like you and other people, I live in Miami in a high-rise for $5,000 a month. I mean, I think my life is pretty okay. I mean, what do you...
But I'm saying, like, what are you doing when you're trying to sell to people that, being a hoe is cool, smoking pot, saying...
I don't necessarily think that being a hoe is cool.
Are you going to age out of that?
Because
you're a 35-year-old man, right? And you're kind of doing the, like, I'm a college dorm kid and I'm trying to make everything sound cool. But I just want to point out the fact that you're a 35-year-old man.
I mean, he can kind of do whatever he wants, can't he?
He has a lax life, so why can't he just...
Right. He lives his life like that.
Right.
If he feels like he wants to live his life in a way that has him chilling and living the lax bro life, then he can do that. Mm-hmm. Why is it that he must be, and he can have an opinion on whatever it is that happens? See, the thing is that just because you have an opinion on something doesn't necessarily mean that you're giving people instructions or advice or anything like that. Sometimes you just have an opinion, and I do what I do, and you do what you do.
Makes you comfortable, makes you happy,
right?
Then do it, and you're not harming anybody. So
and she don't got nothing to do with me.
And your words should matter, and they should have weight. Like
I
said,
agree.
if you were 20, I'd be like, I get it. When you're 35. Say things with conviction. Say things that have meaning.
Plenty of things with conviction, yes.
And
like when I asked you, what would you recommend to a woman at 25 and 30? I didn't just start rambling about what a 20-year-old should do and how biologically blah, 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 blah. I would say exactly what I would tell a woman at 25 or 30.
Yeah, I know, but your behavior, and I will appreciate that people that are younger won't understand what I'm saying until you hit 35, which is, I'm going to be 35 this year.
Okay.
You're acting like you're a college dorm kid.
Yeah, and your catty insults towards people online make you seem like a high school mean girl.
Okay.
I mean, like, are things.
But you're selling to them things that you know aren't good. So
what do you think I'm selling to them?
If you were a
selling that I know
25-year-old, like when I'm on the Whatever podcast and I'm surrounded by women that are in their 20s and they're saying, like, the whole life is good, the reason why I said to that girl that I'm going to pray for you is because I know that she's going to have a different perspective when she's older. So I'm not upset by that. I don't feel like that needs to be attacked when those young girls are around me and we're talking about all of these topics. When I'm sitting with a 35-year-old man,
you see, I don't agree with her. I don't think that that's the deciding factor, how old you are and how much life experience you have. Some things are common sense, like all this, how being a hoe ain't really a good long-term prospect for women. That's not something that motherfuckers discover once they reach age 30. You always been knowing that. You knew that. You knew that from the beginning. You just put it out of your mind. You said, I'm young. That's a long time from now. It's not going to matter to me. That's what they do. They actively ignore it. But to think that that's something they don't know or incapable of understanding is ridiculous.
No, I think some women actually think that it doesn't matter. Like there's a lot of women, a percentage of women who think it doesn't matter. And especially if they're young, they're saying, oh, I'm young anyway, so it doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter because of the simple fact that how would he know if I'm a hoe or not? So I feel like she's just stating the fact that they're so casual with their life choices that they're out here destructively destroying themselves and don't even realize it until they reach their age where it's just like, oh,
right.
too little, too late.
And the argument is that he's already that age, so he should know better than to lead people off the precipice of a cliff that he himself will not jump off. Mm-hmm. But I get that. But at the same time, like I said, sometimes he gives people advice, but sometimes he's just giving his opinion. And the important point is to make a distinction between when someone is actively telling you what you should do with your life and what they're saying they would do if they were in your position, which is not necessarily the same thing. And an intelligent person doesn't just listen to what famous people fucking regurgitate to them and fucking copy it.
Right.
That makes you like an asinine moron. Go ahead.
Because you're supposed to abstract things that morally... Extract what morally resides within you and you feel is right and you feel like you want to live by and just leave the rest. Right. You're not supposed to just listen to everything that everybody says and just go along with it.
And copy it wholesale.
Right.
It's like, no, what you're supposed to do, what people who possess the ability to engage in critical thinking, what they do is that you take from all sources, you take in information from everywhere and from all sources and you decide based on your own criteria that you make up because it's your own fucking life, what you think is good and what you think is bad. And then a smart person also would listen to the experience of someone who's basically lived the same life as you, but for longer. And so they can tell you how your life may turn out, and maybe it may not be all sunshine and roses when you're 35 as opposed to when you're 22.
Like, you're supposed to heed other people's experiences and what they've gone through as you're talking to other people who are older than you in different generations and so on and so forth. So it's just like you're supposed to be absorbing all this information from one person's experience to another and see how, do you really want to live like this?
Do you really want this to be your end result?
Right. Do you really want to follow this lead and end up in the same position as several groups of people that you've talked to over time?
Right. And plus, her point of view is very rigid and very strict, especially with the religious point of view. It's like, that's the part that also bothers me. It's like, keep your religion to yourself. Like, stop trying to say that people's activities that you believe are against your religious dogma are therefore necessarily the birth of the degeneracy of society. And that's not to say that I don't necessarily agree with the side that she's coming from, because I do. That being a hoe when you're 21 and thinking that you can just live your life like that is not a productive fucking methodology for women to live their lives by in society. It's not. It will end up with you crashing out when you're like 35 every time. But yet, the way she's couching it, I don't like it. I don't like her either, to be completely honest.
Okay? And
what do you think I'm selling people?
And you know better, okay?
Wait, what do you think I'm selling people?
Well, what I said.
It's funny because I agree with sort of her point of view, but I don't like her. And I'm defending Destiny, who probably I would disagree with definitely on this topic.
What I said when you were defending the lifestyle of being a hoe, why are you doing that?
I don't think I defend the lifestyle of being a hoe.
You did a whole video basically saying that none of my points of me trying to tell these women that they, essentially, you can do something better, you don't have to sell your body. This was your like snazzy video comeback to it. Why are you making a comeback? Yes, you can make a video and be like, why can't someone do heroin? But why would you as a 35-year-old man want to sell something to someone or make it seem okay or cool or relevant when you know it's harmful to them? I don't get that because of your age.
So, yes, like kind of
because people make their own choices.
Right. And
they make their own beds and lay in it.
Right. And also you have to understand that
them.
he doesn't, how do you know that he agrees with the fundamental point that is wrong? Right. You made a heroin comparison, but like, if he doesn't agree that being a hoe is wrong, then the whole argument falls apart.
Tell people that they have to do a particular thing, but if I see somebody that's doing heroin, I'm not going to be like, you know, it is whatever, and it's just like whatever.
You think that heroin is comparable to recreational sex?
I am, quite frankly, I actually think a woman, as the one that I sat across from when you were critiquing this video, who says that she slept with up to, 20 men per night?
Outrageous behavior.
It's just as bad. And I know that has to be hurting her soul. So
that's heroin level behavior. Hurting her
soul? What if she just has a different lifestyle than you? Completely. No, she doesn't. You know?
No, what do you mean? You know, she's telling you, she was very honest, actually. And that's why I appreciate her, because she was very honest that for her, it is just about money. Okay? But when I see that individual, when a young woman is saying that she'll sleep and see up to 10 to 20 clients per night, that's a broken individual.
Yeah, that's true. And
it is.
And you're more broken, too, when you realize that what you're doing is exchanging money for your dignity. And that is only something that can continue for so long with any person until you run out of the ability to endure your lack of dignity in society, particularly when people start knowing what you do and shaming you for it. That'd be worse.
Or wouldn't it be also for some instances, like with certain women, they just love the act of sex itself, that they put it above their principles and everything else and their morals because they love it so much, and they endure it. They just endure it because they love sex so much.
Well, that's called hedonistic behavior.
Yes.
And the problem is they don't endure it. They only endure it until they get to be older and they don't have the same type of prospects that they used to have.
Absolutely.
Then it's no longer right. Then the calculus doesn't make sense anymore because they're not getting the same amount of influx of attention, money, whatever. And that's the crash out that people are trying to tell them that's going to happen, and they simply can't conceive of it.
And then that's when women are actually looking for one individual to settle down.
But you've already ruined your prospects for doing that. Right. Listen, you make your bed, you lay in that bitch.
And it's just as when you see somebody who says that
he doesn't agree.
Heroin or doing this, they don't need the guy, the cool guy at the party to be like, yeah, man, it's whatever. Like, it's like, no, you actually, like, structure. You need somebody to say to you, you don't have to do this. There is so much better potential within you. You are young. You have your entire life ahead of you. Let's figure out what it is that you're great at. I understand the economic concerns. It's a really tough economy, and it's easy money. But there's other things that you can do to make money that will give you better self-value. And so that's why I say that I think that what you're doing as a 35-year-old man is you're lying. You're just lying.
I don't really think he's lying. I think he has his opinion. He believes that they can be free and do whatever they want, and their life won't end up like a crash out. I mean, he married a girl that that he basically took care of, and they were in an open relationship, and then she left him for another dude. So if even as he's reached that arc in his life, he still can't say that maybe being a hoe ain't good. He ain't never gonna reach there. And that's just what it is. He doesn't believe that. So her making this argument doesn't really make a lot of sense to him, because because he doesn't believe that.
Yeah, for him, for Destiny, he believes that everybody has their own right, their own choices, and their own freedom to do what they please with their bodies, men and women alike. And he doesn't hold that against women, so he's just like so carefree in that aspect when it comes to casual sex. He doesn't see a problem, but in the long run, a lot of people see it, men, women. Of course, men do see it.
Regardless of whether he sees it as a problem, I think he would understand analytically that the majority of men see it as something that's undesirable. And so you will end up in a place where the only men you have to choose from are men who see your prior behavior as undesirable. And that is how you end up crashing out, like I said. So that's just his opinion. I mean, it's funny to watch them argue, right? Because she's trying to box him in, and he's just like, if he doesn't believe that being a hoe is wrong, if that is something that he doesn't believe, then her whole argument falls apart and she's unable to box him in, right? Because then he's not, in his mind, he's not promoting degeneracy. So then his age doesn't really matter, because I mean, like I said before, just because you reach a certain age doesn't mean you're automatically responsible for these fucking riffraff below age 30. Like, I'm not responsible for you. You do whatever you want to do, and if it happens, it happens. No, but he's saying he's promoting degeneracy. That means by definition he has a responsibility to promote something other than that to his viewers, which I don't know that is the case,
right?
Because you should have critical thinking skills and take what you believe from what I say as valid, and whatever else you don't fuck with based on your own criteria, throw it out. But don't blame me when I have my lifestyle that I like, and other people co-opt that from me, and then you're gonna blame me for their bad behavior. I mean, that kind of doesn't make sense. Like, I can't control these people.
Yeah.
Anyway, like I said, let us know what you think about this bullshit in the comments, because as far as I'm concerned, obviously being a hoe is not a positive thing to do, but at the same time, I don't really see that Destiny necessarily has an obligation to
change anything,
to say different shit to people just because he's reached a certain age. Like, that doesn't make any sense to me.
I guess she feels like he should be wiser by this age.
The problem is that she thinks he should be wiser and say what she wants him to say, right? But he has his own opinion. He can say what he wants to say.
Yeah.